Hi, my name is Yahya Kamil. I am from Group B1 Class 10-1, and in this video I will tell you about the reason why floating market were created, how the trader go to the market, what if you want to go there, what they sell, etc, etc. Alright, floating market. Just like the name, this market floats on the river. In South Kalimantan, there are 2 floating market, actually 3. And in this video, we will talk about the Baintan floating market. I hope you enjoyed the video. In the past, people living in the rural of Kalimantan would sell their produce to the city. Because at that time there was no road and the only means of transportation was through the river, so they bring their produce to the city by boat. The boat they used was a small boat called jukung. It pushed by one person, and another place was filled with the goods of their produce. Most of the sellers in the floating market were women. They come from various tributaries of the Martapura River. They would convoy using their boats to the location of the Baintan floating market along the riverside of the Martapura River. This boat belongs to the trader and farmer who will market their garden product. In general, Baintan floating market is no different from other floating markets, a traditional market on a jukung that sells various merchandise, such as agricultural and plantation product. This floating market has existed since the days of the Banjar Sultanate. Baintan floating market is located on Martapura River, Sungai Tabuk District, Banjar Regency in South Kalimantan. This is how it's looked from above. To get to the Baintan floating market from the city center, you can take several alternatives. The first alternative is to walk along the Martapura River using a klotok with a rental rate of around 200,000 rupiah to 250,000 rupiah. With a klotok, the journey from the city center to the floating market is fairly fast because it only takes 30 minutes. By using a land vehicle for the second alternative, it takes longer, which is 1 hour to reach the floating market. This is because the terrain tends to be treacherous. Actually, it depends on where you start the journey. In some cases, less time is required with a land vehicle. However, for visitors who have used land vehicle to the village of Baintan and want to continue to experience using the klotok to reach the floating market, the trip can be continued using klotok from the pier there. You have to go early in the morning because this market is a bit far from the city center and this market is only open until 8 AM. As I said before, what time do you have to go to the market? It depends on where you start the journey. So, adjust your time. The traders sell many things ranging from fruit, vegetable, snacks, breakfast such as nasi kuning, unique souvenirs of Borneo, and also miniature of jukung. Not only enlivened by the number of traders, the interaction of trader with buyer also make the market atmosphere more lively. But not only the interaction of trader with buyer, interaction between trader also occur here. For example, trading activities using the barter system. But
COVID-19 infections.
Coronavirus. Scientists are racing to assess the threat from the new coronavirus variant Omicron.
2 warga Indonesia yang positif terinfeksi virus corona disebut telah melakukan kontak.
As of this morning, there have been 571 cases confirmed by the Chinese government, and 17 people are reported to have died.
Bahkan tanpa gejala sama sekali.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades.
the pandemic that hit had a big impact on the income of trader. Some traders claim that income during the pandemic decreased drastically due to the decrease in the number of tourists. due to the restriction on regulation during the pandemic. One of the fruit trader named Ainia, she said during this pandemic the most income is 50,000 rupiah, sometimes not at all. Before the pandemic, Ainia could get 300,000 rupiah every time she sells. Even so, the market remains open during the pandemic, even though no tourists come. It is like returning to its identity, which is to serve buyers from the surrounding community.